Everybody, I want to hear you. Let's go. Come on. One more time. Come on. I like it from Akka on guitar. I can't hear you. Break it down. I want to hear it. Let's go. Come on. Zoom. I want to hear the man. Hermano. Hermano.
Yada obo ade na se enne eye ebo bosume no da etoso dum kuno, and it is an honor and a big privilege to have you guys back again on this platform no kremre hanom ena yetnase na yidu no credit. This show is always live on your number one channel, Today Ghana News TV. Na yetnase say anamunim se Ghana hodo ena ye na hodo ntine dani day na edru yawada impenifo bonkunwa no etnase discussing what is going on in the country, especially within the political cycles, and how it's affecting Mumma. And it's our time now. It's exactly 8 minutes past 6. Yadia kunyo die na mwamunim. And officially no me invite you obi bia aba jumedie no so mesrew. Jumedie, we are live on a lot of platforms. And so I encourage everybody, especially with the social media platforms. We are streaming live. We are on the satellite platform. We are via the Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn with a search handle no. Hey, Today Ghana News TV. Samsung stations be boa yɛn epiapia dwumadie no ɛkɔ akyiri ma ɔmo asɛm bi ɔmo mbɛn yɛn beebi a yɛwɔ no ɛnya bi etie ɛwɔ Ghana ha beebi a Adeliman Community Information Center Hine FM in Achimhima 93.5 Fans TV ɛna other channels a ɔmo boa yɛn samre no ɔmo bu adwuma papa making sure say dwumadie bi a yɛdi wɔ Today Ghana News TV so no ɛbɛkɔ akyiri na yenye obi bia adwen because mpanifo say eti baako de nyansa ni eti nipa baako potrim enti said dwumedie no kɔ echi na mu na mu de madwen kyerɛ ba no na dwumedie no so de konkan na Ghana fa ni tempe front say afei na wadwen ne ya mema akɔ aba tena sidin na enei ye won nsɛm bi ɛbɛpapa mu ni mpanifo bi a ɔmo bɛka yɛn sa de no mbedi dwuma no na ansa na no mepɛ sɛ madam penifo bi ase opening set ade me boss me director producer on na da bia day na o share Today Ghana News TV a de ekosu bia no penin na she kira o make sure say bia ekoye nyame sha no bebre mesrew o share screen so a o say I say logo no ne 5 yes nyame adom we cry sa Today Ghana News TV ene ya make say 5 years solid into this year na e birthday patro nya mantene nko throughout the year ni na ye birthday no nti ye ne sa na chese ye da mwase because ye ne mo a mo na mo so ye mfisa ma oboade no e di ebedu bibia ye dru nti nei ye de obi bia asese mo ne ananti sa fi poli inum ma ya de dodo okay ensema me be bubo so enne no bebre na mmom Ghana ha de mo amunim se open sama yetwegu wo Ghana ha de a na open dia ne kura nko a ntro bia mfrem ntro enim na the evening Tribune Today Ghana news no the evening Tribune no sister way na omo de Ghana's only watchdog the ekobe na any die chire obi be say who watches the watchman and so the evening Tribune there money baby bia or show bia they report stories no crojin tronim order for and then that screen also no the evening Tribune say shema say in some copy or a front page and a summary echego no usha yira swafo Oshe ama me can say cry wo twim foreign affairs minister Shama Horodo nsem ye ekoso no yes and I down alleged security breach and external interest in Ghana's leadership kujeto ablakwa and edaho kama sounds na wo share right hand side na see oil war fears NDC UK chair urges national unity as global crisis looms. Na say crisis ntokwa na ekokoso aman so no be affect fango a yenya didi edwuma ye bi efuo ye cars ne enwuma ye hia fango edi especially ECG ne ade ni na no sisi ana wo ne ade ne koso ntokwa ne amayama bi ekono isuru kakra wo because most of the supplies if we among we so and they queen and ever Mahama orders massive security recruitment drive we one of the topics and ye be discussing na ye bedo masuka mpenifo betina se was studio na ya do masuka mesrew wo akwanya se wo de wadwen kire beba on the Facebook and all the social media handles the search handle is Today Ghana News TV. Pacho okoha jumedi etwegu na the old baby bia na beji mre na yakan. Emma enkoye se NPP nkwa na kasa ye NDC nkwa na kasa ye. I know people have different opinions, different ideas. Until we invite all of you to join our live broadcast today. Now, for our joint travel, Buana Jumedia, intimate funny temper from me. Did you pass the day in an penfono eshe? Na omutie, na the obeke biansono, omufa. Until Waquina, and yammy guest in Quano Mucas, I also for our joint travel now in the Jumedian emblem. And Sana Mebura studio B now, meaning penny for a common myself. Mamma found beyond makeup. Beyond makeup, no. Just say, oh no, a beauty salon na my way at Yabotra, chuchum me, Mahona, Mrs. Unum, so don't pay. Said I'm tia my bray. The boss say 5 years anniversary, no mencoho. Na Mariano, informant to na Mundi Mujuma. And tea, my info beyond makeup. Na Minsanson Kyle say, ye Jumede Babidiwo Armenia. The African art, food, music exhibition no pacho course the nyame adoma. We are open. We are calling all vendors to come on board. Every investor, anybody who is interested in a program like this to come on board. Mame fa won call honum sisi ana membra me ba mpeni fo atena se na yedin kom pacho menko be atwen.
Welcome to Beyond Makeup, where beauty and confidence are taken to a whole new level. Here, we pamper and take care of you like royalty. Enjoy our gentle waxing, refreshing facials, and soothing massages that melt away stress and leave your skin glowing. We also offer professional makeup services, manicures, pedicures, durable nail extensions, and perfectly sculpted ombre brows. We give you the most perfect soft lashes that highlight your natural beauty. At Beyond Makeup, every visit is more than just a service. It's an experience of care, elegance, and transformation. Locate us at Chado Last Stop or call us on 0559 933 505 or 0506 474 911. Follow us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Beyond Makeup, your journey to wellness starts here.
Oh, say yay! The African Arts, Food, Music and Culture Festival, Armenia 2026. Society, Yapa Huntim of Francis Consults, Eto Esa Afro Esbitesa, Ewa Ghana, any Africa, Sabe showcase creativity, Ewa global stage, so we artists, fashion designer, chef, musician, Anna Empo, cultural entrepreneur, any woman, so what the African young creativity, every global stage, Ewa Europe, ya boy ya pomo atuho, ya show registration I say, and it's 2% participating, and now on getting more information there, any other contact in Ewa Humachu so +374 558 508 11 and +233 542 545 815. Following our Facebook, Ope and Sembisa Ana Bibi Piata Efaye Hon. Ubetimi I email and so ewo African Culture Festival 2018 at gmail.com. African Arts, Food, Music and Culture Festival, Armenia 2026, made of way. Africa on display, culture without borders. Yeah, that was it,
And I say Kasian come will be a summary money and also a ebidi Jumadian abum. Na Francis Consult and the attendant Moamoti advertini Chaguiano. Nature say, yet Bibia could be Armenia, your African Art Festival, culture, Bibia, Biano, Yediani, and Yuma Iti, Bibia could be Armenia. Anyen tie se omo mo na ya na munya wache ndi. Asantefo no kan say wache. Na we ye aduane ahodo ni na ko tipacho ye exhibitor. Ye bo advert na ye bo numbers na fa. Na wonso nya akwenya. Na fa onema ye ko no na in project Africa together. What you say? But that's it. Now, and I think every day when we meet, we discuss things that is of high concern to the state, Ghana. Today is no exception. Now, you share hanum na, and some I can nature say, and some who hear papa. And see, Osha may listen as well. We have two major topics, you better discuss it. One has got to do with President Mahama ordering for massive recruitment in the security service, and another one has got to do with the Bank of Ghana. Some warning about the global tension, especially in the Middle East. It may affect inflation, fuel price. I beg your pardon, fuel price. I say me yako, massive one baby, fuel price. Any the ekeka account and unim so automatically fuel price increase here. It goes a long way to affect us. That one there no doubt, because it will have an effect on goods and services, transportation, a whole lot. Even as at now, Krano, there's been some few lapses within the energy sector, and we all appreciate there are issues there. But fuel prices can go a long way to even affect the energy sector. And it's a bit shaky. And this is what the Bank of Ghana is warning us about this tension. Also, we and they before that, what do you also think about the SIM card re-registration or some George and in the ministry? I think before our main topic, I'll give my panelists the opportunity to touch on this. Let's talk about the relevance. Let's talk about the cost involved. Let's talk about the positive and the negative aspect of this SIM card registration. But what I say audio voice. But Facebook, share. Make sure you share. Come on Facebook. Come on YouTube. All our streaming platforms na streaming media. Make sure you share. Na media ni intimi kwechire. And before say program be near chese number 4K ni just on the live. So Mr. Uba and fanya kwa jokra, because the discussion is of a high importance. You hear obi adwenche nti say oba na beton live no so. Just don't just watch and leave a brother or a sister somewhere. Say also just get them involved by sharing so that we can have diverse opinions. What you say? So mpacho oba and fanya kwa jokra, share. Now, your 5 years anniversary, we are just looking at things, because there are some people who have been with us from the scratch and they've been sharing and all that. And we are sure some people say are in German Muslim, but sharing the employee work 5 years in a new need the academy. Yes. So we are going to be discussing this, but before then, let me introduce my guest for tonight's discussion. In fact, Meopeni Charles Mensah, member of the NDC Germany communications team. I was studio. Menchiano. Namana kwa baoha. Samre. Ghana ne dane chineche se Ghana hodo ashe na kume muma. Enye ize. O Germany so. Awono. Openi. Memo wajo ni akwa baba no krem reju medie so said dia woye no. Unim.
Yeah, good evening, Lawrence.
Apum.
Yeah, nyame adom bibia boko.
Yeah, nyame
so enchia producers any wankasa. A very good evening, and also to extend my warm regards to our listeners, and also extend my regards to the NDC fraternity, as well as His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the President of the Republic of Ghana, and thank him for the yeoman's job that he has done so far, and which he seeks to continue doing same, and also encourage him to do far more for the good people of Ghana. So without I do, this will be my preliminary comments for now. And I hope when we get to the actual discussion stage, we will do detailed analysis of the issues at stake.
Sure. Mami Kancha also said we are expected to be joined by Dr. Masood Abongo, Mwamunim, Doc Diobana is a BB. Hey, another wabo. I don't know, I'm going to try you check with the doc.
Rose Mitchell, a Jumani yard also, unse, a Jumani yard also, and this will move a many year, and they'll say, and so, therefore, coin I go for so I, our name our ye within our territory. And telling our mammy why and then this arm. Can you make a year, can be a bone sem or on, but name and coye, John Mammy NDC, or Mukano crack. Meaning I'm cocoa farmers and so, me no mukasa. Yet, you can't even some trauma now or my abutre because omu pay a swati boom, boom, boom. And one some ya 10 bia no yam na me urum. Many farmers in the air can and no coin ever foster NPP farmers, especially cocoa farmers. And Nintina and say, I own yam in me urum.
Oh, now Coco, one say me na. I don't know blame on John Draman, ma'am. Just say they acquire global thing because na mufa we the mudi kodi go try impose prices na you good one na kodi go kwa make say omusu na say dey na enya Ghana ko na ada na I say
Lawrence, John Mama might say Russia Ukraine war no bibia won emu twen ni Ghana enti NDC de ka nim se omu ni ma de a ye friend global ono a oye ne campaign o say na Russia Ukraine war emu twen so omu tuto bomba ebi nduru Ghana na den na ebe global tina be affect Ghana NDC for my TSSA enti omu ni excuse so make say global time no kura na global thing na you say COVID-19 global and the Russian Ukraine war double effect kura no cocoa no it over 3,000 now see na only slight global COVID-19 count then almost 2,000 something almost 1,000 Ghana cedis if you music mismanagement and miscalculation by cocoa board. Because at the end of being no total honoma, you expected the following year the president of Kosoro. President of Kosoro, by Randy Abbey, say, or a media person, right? He doesn't know the industry. And all by and so on, yeah, but try my technical people and toneful. Cocoa president Kosoro, every do maybe. Now, also, autumn season, what ton, but no expect to say president, the sound Kosoro view. But we are okay in a cocoa price is global. Say affecting a sovereignty. It is a suti eba boom. It is suti and of share and say on to me money ye. After no person turn off. And to turn swa cocoa farmers in Beboka. Or turn sir on miss canto because so much my price now could pick. And I can't see about phone. And take a time a price no could pick now could turn this time now. Because how in an ember, it is purely mismanagement. Really, purely mismanagement and a manibasa.
okay. That's it. So let's tackle the issues for the day. Like I've intimated earlier, no. There are real ones I ever come once. My yamfa we emperor kwemu. Yeah, from the Ministry of Communications. Sam George. Shana Udi Bano. Now the say SIM card registration. Maybe sir, why is this so? And looking at what previous governments have done so far, no, think Yaboka na looking at the equipment, the kind of people you have to hire. I mean, the stress in the process and all that. Is there no any better way to upgrade it than to do a re-registration for the SIM cards?
Yo, Lawrence me that's it. Your SIM card registration, that has been the diseases in Ghana. No one wants to blame someone, and someone does not want to take the blame, and no one wants to do the right thing, and someone don't want to do or tell the right thing. Osha registration no so kaya APP abreso that are not Oslo Usu and an Minister of Communication. Obey or your registration no. But near Emma say the current communication director, Jata, ono chere say Omaye, but Oma integrating it into the system. And in your no say is going to integrate it into the system. So near me no, it's not basically SIM card registration because near all kind of say you don't even need to go to the telecos like Oslo Usu time now. You need to take your SIM card, you need to take your Ghana card. This time no, you don't need to even go there. They're just going to match the data that a Ghana card is having and the data that is the telecos and integrate them, right? So it's the same thing that NPP and Oslo Usu did. This government is trying to just integrate them together. But in the situation, say, integrating integrate or they are finding difficulties, that is when they may call the client or they may invite you to come to the office. So it's not pay straight SIM card registration. It's like integrating the system so that you synchronize with the Ghana telecos. But what Jata, how to explain to Ghanaians is more difficult. I know he's a communicator, but sometimes he rushes to do his things. It's not basically SIM card registration, but SIM card integration into the Ghana identification system, right? Or can say, yeah, Ghanaians doesn't need to go and queue like they used to go. It's just like they are going to use the data. So data and data are going to use to match. So that means what NPP did or what Oslo or what the previous government did by taking the data of Ghanaians, he is not going to what? To integrate them or to tally them with the Ghana Identification Authority so that to become one. Because they take the data, but Oma Kanina boom, and to know the Kanina boom. So it's just like what the previous government started, they want to finish. I think it's a good thing. Let's see how it goes. We only pray. I only pray that this time we get it right. Right. But we should not let it look like near previous government no, Oma, they have taken the pain. And Ghanaians who have taken the pain to join the queue, give their data, give their information, everything to the Ghana telecos. And now left the Ghana telecos to work with the Ghana Identification Authority to put everything together, right? So I think that is what the current government wants to do. So it's what the previous government have started. That is what the current government wants to do. Let's see. At the end of the day, it's the Ghanaian people that benefits, and let's give him a try. I don't see anything different from what the previous government has done.
Okay, I think Doc, you've made your candid opinion. You've made your candid opinion on that. Mamenje opinion Charles and so let's see. Maybe she might think say you guys didn't also do well and they are here to do things right. But like I'm saying, your opinion is just candid, and I like that, Mr. Charles.
Yes, thank you very much, Lawrence. Yeah, me too, Doc. But before then, let me greet Doc for the purpose of discussion. No, Doc, maybe I will be a I didn't know initially. Na minim say our platform no so. I although minim say but na minim say waba. So Doc, maybe I will be a michiao. And once again, let me also greet our listeners. Na michia me childhood friend Edna Owo Kumasi. Maybe be ocean be good evening this time around. Yes, Doc exhibited what we call a student who has set up his own questions to answer. And no classroom na question number no. We any then sa na question that we share no answer no better at all. Nti utunu say asema ye nkomo aye di emfa koko hu bebia nso doc akofa ba. Now unfortunately for him no kofa ba no why exhibit his total ignorance about the whole issue surrounding cocoa and the cocoa issue going on. Basically, what is going on has to do with where prices of cocoa prices, so from almost 12,000 USD to about 3,000 USD. So in this case, the government of Ghana has nothing to do with the reduction in cocoa prices because it's an external factor and the government of the day has nothing to do with it. And Cote d'Ivoire, which is the largest producer of cocoa in the world, has cut its cocoa price from 3,600 to about 1,500 Ghana cedis if you do the computation. In the issue about mismanagement, it is an issue of an exogenous factor which the government of the day has no what do you call a control over. Even if you look at the current price at the world market stage compared to the prices that we are paying to the cocoa farmers, you realize that government is even paying more than what is being sold at the world market stage. So it is not a matter of Randy Abbey being incompetent at the helm of affairs or the government mismanaging anything. It is just a matter of world prices slumping to a certain rate that is unbearable for the government to pay the previous amount. So I particularly and the entire NDC sympathize with cocoa farmers who are going through this situation, and we hope that the prices of cocoa beans will, pick up for them to enjoy the benefits of their labor. Because the NDC government has promised to pay 70% of the FOB price at any point in time. But looking at the current situation, you realize that the price that we are giving to the cocoa farmers are even more than the 70% that we promised the cocoa farmers. So this is not a matter of governance or mismanagement. It's just that doctor exhibited a gross ignorance of the situation. Again, let's go to the SIM card re-registration or whatever you want to call it. It has to do with the fact that we were told by the previous administration that the registration is going to be a biometric one, whereby your bio data will be taken as well as your personal details, so that what the Onsato machine is for verification purpose or for future use, what the Onsato a bit to me appropriate app and the information authorities and answer bank for and answer Obibiaro here information there no. But unfortunately, the NPP government did not do what they told us. They took our bio, they took the biometrics, all right, but they did not synchronize the biometric with the personal data. That is why you realize that this time around, we are going to synchronize the already taken biometrics of the registrants with that of their individual particulars, so that if you appear at a particular institution and they place your finger on the machine, at least your data will pop up. So the second leg of this registration has to do with the fact that those who were unable to do it during the mass registration process will have the opportunity to also get on board, get their SIM card registered this time around. And those whose bio cannot be synchronized with the personal details of individual registrants, they also have the opportunity to do the re-registration. So by and large, it is a matter of efficiency that we are bringing on board. And we want to have a system or a data set of Ghanaians that is well fit for purpose, that we can rely on and take concrete decisions to prepare the development of the country. Because, you know, if you have a faulty data and you are making a decision on that faulty data, be rest assured that your outcome or whatever you are going to do with that decision will also be faulty. So you need to have a concrete and a good data, which will be the premises on which you can have a good decision-making, variables.
Okay. I think you have made your point with regards to the SIM card registration in biometrics now, person upgrade, and that is fantastic. It's excellent. And I say that once I show no, you so be a kind of correct. Let me take you to the issues for the day, or the topic on the table for the day. And the first one has got to do with President Mahama's order for the massive recruitment into the security service. Now, we know the question we are asking is this a solution to curb crime? I would want to ask this question, and since Mr. Charles, you are already talking, no, before you even get to talk about this one, the massive recruitment when it comes to the security service, no. First of all, is it to fight crime or is it to curb crime? Secondly, no, we cannot attest to the fact what is happening in the world when it comes to technology and all that. Are you guys recruiting? Because the number is huge. Are you guys recruiting because you want to create employment, or there's the vacancy people need to fill? And also, you know, when it comes to Ghana, especially, the service that we render when it comes to security services is mostly peacekeeping and all that. Now, instead of, recruiting this chunk number of people into the service, why not also invest in some technology when it comes to security service? But is that the only way to curb crime?
All right, thank you very much, Lawrence. You need to look at it from different perspective, okay? Now, if you look at the UN Charter on the number of police to citizens, you will realize that our numbers are not encouraging, in the sense that we need more police officers on board to help and maintain law and order. But unfortunately, government purse does not allow the states to have the requisite number of police or security personnel at post at each particular time of the pendulum. But the government of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama promised the good people of Ghana that when he assumed the leadership of the country, he is going to ensure that the security and welfare of the citizens are maintained. And due to this promise, he is ensuring that he is going to bring on board more security of personnel to maintain law and order in the country. Although having a lot of security personnel around is also a way of checking crimes, and is also a source of employment for others. But the numbers that applied for these vacancies were overwhelming to the extent that the President of the Republic has to step in and assess the situation so that they could know what they can do best for the good people of Ghana. So initially, a 20,000 vacancy was declared for all the security agencies, including military and fire and all other the security agencies. But from information that emanated from the corridors of power indicated that about 500,000 people apply for these limited vacancies. So the president had to step in to assess the situation and see how much the state can afford to pay, to absorb when they increase the numbers. So they had an emergency meeting, and the president realized that, or the states realized that they could, up the numbers from 20,000 to 40,000 to ensure that a lot more people get in, for them to assist in the provision of law and order in the country. And I must also state that this 40,000 personnel that they are going to be recruited spans for a period of 4 years. So every year, approximately, they are going to employ about 10,000 for the 4-year term that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is going to spend. So to sum up, I would say that this one is a source of employment for the teeming youth who are unemployed, because even though the employment rate, according to the Ghana Statistical Service, has improved marginally, but we still need to do a lot more to help our brothers and sisters who are still unemployed to gain something meaningful doing, unlike what our brothers in the NPP introduced, like NAPCO, right? Yes, that ad hoc means of creating employment, an unsustainable way. The NDC government is not looking at such an ad hoc means to creating employment. We are looking at creating a sustainable and a decent employment for our citizens. And one way of doing that is the introduction of the 24-hour economy. And before you can have that 24-hour economy sustained, you need to have a well-secured environment. So to have that well-secured environment, you need to, beef up your security measures, and beefing up these security measures include employing or enlisting a lot of security personnel, getting them the right accoutrement to work with and the right incentives. When in talks about, in this case, I'm making reference to their pay and other incentives or other motivational needs that will prepare them to work hard and ensure that the society, the communities that we find ourselves in are safe for habitation. So, one, they are creating employment for these Ghanaian people, and also creating or ensuring that the environment is safe from criminals. Even though a lot of policemen in itself does not necessarily mean crime will be eliminated, but I can assure you crime will be will be brought to the barest minimum.
Opening me say wakasa yi pa na me question back on bisa. In fact, when you were talking, you made mention of unemployment, which I'm very fascinated about that. Many Japan say unemployment too, because a lot of the youth need work. Is it just about employing rather than looking at the quality of service the security personnel provide, and even the technology they should get to work with?
Yeah, so in my submission, I made mention of the fact that for the state to, achieve its aim of ensuring that we have a free and safe environment to live in, employing this personnel in itself is not the entire solution. It includes, giving them the right tools to work with, giving them the right training, and also giving them the right incentives. So it is a package on its own. Okay, if you have the policemen or women at post without the necessary accoutrement, they cannot discharge their responsibilities as security personnel to ensuring law and order or protecting life and properties. Okay, so the government of the day is looking at a holistic approach. So you remember or you recall that recently His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has made some donations of vehicles and other items that the security services need for their operations to the police service and other security agencies in the country. You also recall that the president has been up and doing by, improving their wages and salaries. For instance, just this year, minimum wage was increased by 9%, because if you just oppose the increment rate to that of the inflationary band, you see that the employer at the end of the day is getting something. His disposable income will be much better as compared to an inflation rate of, let's say, 23%. If you give such an employer, if the inflationary rate is 23% and you give such an employer 15% increment in the minimum wage, you see that the employer will be worse off, because the purchasing power will not be able to accommodate the rate at which price of goods and services will be increased on the Ghanaian market. But if you just oppose the 9% to that of the inflation rate at that time, and even an inflation rate of 3.3% currently, you will see that the worker is in a good position to have a good purchasing power, because price of goods and services do not, get increased on a frequent basis.
Thank you. My main call doc on this issue. I think when you're talking, no, you made mention of something good the NPP did not do, which you are empowered to do. Mami moving call doc on this particular issue. Doc, we are still talking about the chunk of people that the president has ordered to be employed in the security service, and we want to just take your opinion or have your bite on the issue. I think Doc, I'll drop it. Yes, by his back. We just want to have your bite on the issue. So, Doc, you have the platform now if you're listening.
Yeah, me, Lawrence, me that say. Mamisa far we echia utie for ina baby omo bia. Na Charles Mensah minim say if he is not, so your student Kamaka say he's not a student who listen attentively and who pay attention to the lecture or the teacher. Maybe I know who be some so and then my ba, because you the me to pro so ya me muntan me. And I just say I no correct muntan humi and I'm sure reason muntan humi and so cocoa farmers no ya ti omo cocoa price no so ni omo je no mati and omuntimi ti omo ka nti mimi ni na me wuro mu a me ne farmers ni eden eka enu kire say me ma set me questions eye wo bi say ani say me member program so me bi so de ntina me member program so and so Mensah by no see me ma set me own question and answer. That means he's not even paying attention when he's in the classroom. It's time for him to pay attention. Ni oye bia na ya pay attention. Let's just say attack obi, we not paying attention. Say somebody's ignorant. Meanwhile, you are ignorant about whatever is going on. And Coco na kasan no. Coco issue no, he doesn't understand. Kotiasia, ko onka, ko wenya abotra ya education. Sometimes you just need small education. So only time so we Google Obo pronouns pay attention and listen to the other side or the other side. You may be able to get some information there that will help you. Because as at last year, no cocoa price no in the world in the $11,000. This year they are about 3,000. Now see cocoa season buying at all last year no. One ton or it go on expect to say President Kosro, President Tiabo phone. And this year say aban to cocoa. But last year the auto no 1 ton in 10 ono can say 11,000. Aban to their 200 were holding sa price ni shooting kura na pan holding sa. Na cause aban ton ni na off. Nanka warehouses no storehouses ni na nanka also cocoa seeds ni na. Aban etoni na off. Aban etoni na odugu sa ma price na tiabo phone aba. Say 3,342. 3,346. After na buy it on. And one I Lucy. One on tia the anasi. I buy. A cocoa board. They should have sell it off the time the prices was going down. Omanton. Say omuniska. Because price now my try my price na tiabo phone. About 2 years control cocoa farms, no about SOT. But in any case, Charles Manson ono a Ghanaian. Mami Chirano. Adentina light bill and a water bill abaya increasing. And I bought cocoa near abaya so ateno. Do you expect the farmer to sell his cocoa seed last year that he produced? You, the government, you bought it. 1 trillion car. This year, about what take cocoa price in the show? Now, so what the same are buying? What increasing the light bill? Are increasing the water bill? Is it sensible? Yeah, common sense. In yes, be womb. Say, me make a train a major no. What is so? Now, so pay. Abaya who answer say, oh, cocoa price now conform. Your farmers. Now, I say Ghana, your farmers are or na price now from any year. Na me subsidize water be ni light bill na abaya hunyansa atu enum a increase no ama abaya hunyansa say oh cocoa we price na above it is gonna be buy me so bet at the moment increase water be ni light bill. In any case, Lawrence,
Doc,
my
okay,
member
so
to a
let's get back
substantive
to the
issue.
topic. Yes. Yep.
My member substantive issue. Eba Ghanaian youth there, me obi a I'm youth advocate. Me advocating for youth. Now, so John Mahama, I was expecting, say, you do something extraordinary to the youth. This is the government that used the youth to campaign, and this is the government that campaign on youth development policy by saying that they are going to have 133. What does 133 means? That means they are going to have 3 shifts. 3 employment, right? That is why I understand it because your 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. So 8 times 3 is 24. So they'll have one person working in one shift, another person working in one shift, another person working in one shift. That will equalize to that 24-hour economy, right? So your policy, need the youth to have a lot of hope in it. Meanwhile, this government has advertised for the young people to join the security. And the sadder part is, they were selling the phones to the Ghanaian youth. Can you imagine, Lawrence? How can you sell a phone to somebody who wants to get employment? How can you do that? It has been bad and it's always bad in respect of any government that is in power. You should not be
You
selling
didn't
phones to
criticize this.
Ghanaian
You
youth
didn't criticize
to
this
buy
when
a
you were in power.
phone and get an employment. It's bad
You,
then and it is
you,
bad now. In
but,
the
but
worst
Doc, you
case
never
scenario,
criticized it then. Why are you criticizing it now? You never
what was he
criticized it
saying?
then. You never criticized it then. Why now?
I have been criticizing it. That is why I said
Okay.
when I started saying it is bad then and it is still
And
bad
it's bad
now.
now. Okay, well made.
It is
Your turn.
bad then and it is still bad now. We are not supposed to sell phones to the Ghanaian youth to join the security agencies. In any case, these are Ghanaians who are sacrificing themselves to join the security agencies. And if someone is joining a security agency, he's putting his life at risk. And that person should not be made to buy phones. And you can say Ghana, young person, I will join security no. Yet to forms in man, or Baba some name. In any case, teachers, your form one, omunto forms. Nurses, your form omunto forms. At then a Ghanaian youth, our person will join security, omunto forms. Incompetent in see. This is the first time. Yeah, military recruitment. Ebuma wu in case for stampede. Ebuma prepra. And see that. Incompetent in the NDC government. As you know, I'm a Ghanaian youth awu. Ebi see that. Stampede in recruitment. I'm a Ghanaian youth awu. Eye John Mama by Munti. Incompetent na si naro ni ewo munti na Ghanaian youth amo pet military. Ebuma ko wu ya ebi so pra. I said the women ko abochire amama ko treatment. Aden na say yes Ghanaian aden John Mama edin say aden boni pen o maye. And on him so over 5,000 people Why you don't want to form 500,000 forms I'm a Ghanaian youth? Why are you stealing from the Ghanaian youth? Why? You want to recruit 5,000. Why don't you make it available to sell the forms 5,000? And I said 10,000. In any case, I even against selling forms to Ghanaian youth. And Lord is only my dear. Almost on by a medical test. A medical test is costing more than 1,000 Ghana cedis. Why? John Mama, why? Who buy over account? Who say, hey, increase employment, you know? Increase the number of 40,000. You are not even talking of the money that they are buying. You are not talking the money that the government is milking from them. You are not talking the money that the government is stealing from them. This is theft. Abani VSK free Ghanaian youth. In any case, I don't know say me ko pay you man. Me ko pay you baby. Yeah, in your application, you apply. If you qualify, they pick you. Why should the military sell forms to Ghanaians to buy in order to join military? Enye chrono, Lawrence, Ghanaian youth, baby mo biya no. Abawe bo mo chrono. Abawe mamu because you want to serve your country. Who person call army? Ntako ba no call front line. I could defend it. You are putting your life at risk. And nipa be say na call buyer or start buying engine, extra money transportation from his house to the recruitment center. And you can say any Ghanaian youth eto forms. Now, I'm promising the Ghanaian youth, say me, Dr. Abongo Mashut, yeah, but one, and also vote one. Ghanaian youth will never and ever buy forms to join the military or any of the security agencies. Me na maka, omu marking to ni oche mi biano, omu marking to Ghanaian youth, NPP ba power. None of them will buy forms, and none of them will pay for medical checkup. Nina also ye free. There were police,
Doc, you are
there
saying this
were
on
police
record.
hospitals, there were military hospitals. We have military
Doc, you are
and
saying
police
this on record.
experts.
Doc,
What
are you
is
saying
saying?
this on record? Are you saying this on
Yes,
record?
this is on record. Me kuama Ghanaian youth. Me catch that bomya or ba me can say forms ne momunto bia me kro ma dika bomya mane. So Ghanaian youth no omun ni kwan so omunto forms. And I'll be sending a petition. Me send a petition to John Mahama. No more fan no musika ni na ma. And yet, it was not good then. It is not so good now. Ghanaian youth, the young people are not supposed to buy phones to join any of the security agency. It should be free and free. In any case, why? What are you selling for them? The person needs to go to the internet, fill the forms. It's online. You are not doing any paper thing. Everything is online. The person is going to even pay for data to fill his forms. So what are you even selling to the Ghanaian youth? Why? I'm paying you for no security for you for them and I'm talking. At the end of youth, no, I'm filling online. Who say you want to 20 or something Ghana city? And on himself 5,000. What
Medicals.
you want out on 5,000? Are they? Only
You
man,
go
no.
for
This is
medicals, you
just
pay.
purely theft.
All that.
It's theft. Yeah,
Doc, I
you're
think
free Ghanaian youth no so oh.
Doc, I think it all boils down to the higher rate of unemployment in Ghana. Nanso no, say ubehwe mu yi pa nka. I think recently you say Ura Sidun Ketia kwa pro Bobby. That is a thank you tour no after elections. Then I've sat in one of the programs Okoyen Aoka say the number is huge na say your first uncle for be na konfo be na ye kwa no. So for me it sounds as a shock. I'm a bit of surprise, even though I know say Ghanaian youth need job, but is it just in the security sector? Can there be a way to create employment? I mean, one of the things I've always advocating for is the government also encouraging entrepreneurship, because most of the people know if they're encouraging the areas they are, I'm not sure a chunk of people would even want to be in the military. Something that like you are saying, you put your life on the line, and I mean, you guys have been in the advanced country. They even come to you to see if you can join them. But yet then there is not like that, and people take money. Sometimes you would have to like you rightly said, you have to pay about thousands of Ghana cities for somebody to link you up for you to go and do the job. Can there be any ways way? And with this, who feel say the more we employ or the more we recruit people, no, is a way to curb crime in the system.
Yeah, Lawrence. True. Osha, in the country I am, Russia, if you are joining the army, you don't buy forms. If you are joining the army, you don't buy forms. And the army, they need a lot of people. In Russia, police, military, immigration, they need a lot of people. You can just walk in any day, anytime, and say you want to join the army. They'll take your details. They'll do your medicals. They'll do everything for you free of charge. At the end of the day, they'll even give you transportation to go back to wherever you are coming from. This is a country that is even in war, and that's why they do your recruitment. Recruitment, you don't need to buy forms. Why should you buy forms? You are looking for employment, and you have to spend money to buy forms. And yet, you have the money. But also can be yes, that is why NPP are. If you look at the history in Ghana, NPP have always been an advocacy for youth employment. Oshe for time, the youth employment program by it's for NDC were in power from AFRC, PNDC to NDC, and the role is for 20 something years. What for youth employment be ama? NDC is a party that does not think about the youth. They were in power for over 20 years. Oman, you see youth now, BBR. The only time who see youth employment under Kufuor, right? So that means NDC, they don't actually have policy on youth. Omuni. And I'll explain why Omuni youth. And the Kufuor by not setting why now friend youth employment. And now friend, Kufuor police, Kufuor nurse. It was Kufuor time. And employment youth massive employment and a friend youth employment program. MPP through on na NDC by and Abuga Pele on an YE boss. What did he do? This can a basa. At that time, Crown Emma Manas Azure a year report on that issue. And a John Mohammed Eche Abuga Pele, go to prison, so Bekaya. That means they don't have any direction on youth employment. Sikana the more so for youth employment and no more edit year. And Obakaya confirm program. No do want some year of frustration. Sada and Omudi and so Umudi Sikano. I confirm no so and Oma confirm it took over Burkina Faso. This is an NDC. On the more youth FSC that problem can say because now MPP you're setting up programs that will help the youth to integrate sustainable employment. Ebimako poultry, ebimako guinea fowl, ebimako forestry. NDC buy no and Abuga Pel omu disikan yes happen on basa. And MPP samba bio on a buy be nakop no. And I say yeah why ye na se Basintale and Mohammed Liano omyesi on MPP policies. And the MPP have always been a party that is advocating for youth employment, getting employment for the young people. And no besides so okay advanced country, what they do is industrialization, right? That is why NPP the time, you did one district, one factory. If you go to Germany or in advanced country, it's the industries that employ. Martina Germany. Martina Germany, any corner be or village be no. German, they have entrepreneurs are more maybe. Either they're doing production or they are producing something. They have industries. Individual industries, individual jobs, individual businesses, and the employer more for be. And not MPP here time, you designing policy say one district, one factory. It's a good policy. I'm talking about the policy. I'm not talking about the implementation. The policy of one district, one factory was a good policy. This is a policy that a designer so that every district be an able factory. And once every district is having a factory, right, it will create employment for the people in that district, right? But the implementation was another thing that we have some challenges. But in any case, enough in not factories need be one more. Yeah, creativity. Ebumu antimi anye juma. Unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, NDC support any policy 24-hour economy. No. I was thinking say omuba they'll ride on that policy. But omo cancel that policy totally because Oshebo Mio Kruma, yes, factory ho. I have friend watermelon factory. Yes, factory ho. Nansanya Micho na farmers no just besides the factory no is under Tamale Bolga Road. It don't me free Tamale corner. Me factory at my left hand side and the watermelon farmers no. Say omo take watermelon na no average na kwan mu airton. This was the factory that was supposed to buy all the watermelon that farmers need producing, and they'll produce it into fruit juice. So I was expecting say NDC by year, almost a 24-hour economy, no, like they would have invest in that factory, right? So that the farmers will produce day and night, 24 hour. Omeko for me, no factory so at all. No use employment, no markup. In fact, no more so 24 hour. Na omo produce ya na marketers no so omo akọ jom no omo akọ tomo no jom 24 hour. And this is 3 times the farming side, that is the farmers who work 24 hour. You come to the main industry, you work 24 hour, and you go to the market, those who are going to buy it and sell it will also buy it and sell 24 hour. This is a massive employment, but because NDC omo lack that kind of policy. Omun lack that kind of idea of youth employment. Omun lack that kind of idea of industrialization. Omun timia ye. I'm so 24-hour economy no. Omun ba be si jom. That is what I've now realized. John Mahama oko bono na senya jini anasampa. Matise wa ko kati short. So omun si 24-hour economy cost market no so you work in the gate you will be marketing. Building a market 24 hour will not have any employment effect in the economy. And you should have industries that will produce goods and services.
I think Mama Mr. Charles Abim to have his bite on your
but what I'm saying is that
question I want to also ask. Question I'm maybe say in this modern age, I know some military work with people, but in the advanced world, even though there is war and other stuff, there's more of the technology in the security service. So if the government is going to employ, I'm asking, at least in cutting number and so in terms of the security service, and this is a question like anybody will ask. Nanka say be a cutting number no, and also invest this kind of money, some of the money in equipment, technology, anka and before and now the security service can use to improve the quality of the work, because from where you are Russia like this, but it's not physical. Even though there are human beings that control machines or model fire missiles near there, but you can tell that there are more of the equipment of which Ghana we don't have. This is my question to you. So don't you think, Senka, it would have been best in a way, Senka, government, instead of taking this chunk of numbers, government numbers, making this kind of investment in the area of equipment or ammunition or technology.
Lawrence, your deficit in the security agencies, police to the civilians population ratio is very huge. And we always need men on grounds. But then over police equipment Russia say if you are driving, not to penalty over speeding, and I will jump a traffic light, and also be zebra crossing. No one to automatic or more fine. Baba fan no normal so tuya. One tuya camera be detector can. A bedroom may be police will best stop because your number will be on the system. Almost stop because say sinoko fee. O car no the car. So they'll arrest the car. You the human being your shade. Almost you no arrest the car no more park car no. And to the bar no abe tuya towing and a penalty no one. But we Ghana police and yes sir. Ghana police, omujina jina barrier, omujina wa, no yeshia, obejis gano dibesha ni botum, en kwa bahimuda. Police ni bia odina kwan bia no. Eya mu tro fan mo bia o. You can imagine. And the people violate our road regulations. Omo violate it. Now she's going to call individual police. And the police, they can't generate enough money to the government, and they can't generate enough money to employ others. Time as soon, say buy no. On investing in those things are okay. Cameras, security cameras, no investing in vantage point, zebra crossing, traffic light, no more set it. Or more employ you to do has so good in IT no more monitor. Overloaded pet no more truck. Cut quickly no more send up bro. Right? About system no so. And the more 1 month now metuya. Now o ma take it alert. I'm a police for no muju in the car or the car. O draw no impound no. What kind of draw no uchini pana? Obi a person be nanti. Uchini se car ni the car be jo car na. Driver bia na se car on bia or the car be over jini car film someone because of 1,000 cities are over to your age in the car. Next can I can tell you, Lord, say yes, Anna. Every year, Ghana police will make you employ 10,000. I buy you complain, say you employ youth na yeska. But as it stands, the money goes in the pocket of individual police, except for NTTU. This can show motum and qua buying every SMP in 40 GBDR. I can't tell. But near me, near whom. As a road user, Ghana police for no muji jina coin munina omuji sikana no mu dia show mu botum. Eno there because I'm off for tuya. I'm off for tuya. Ye more city ye more she. So you don't expect what tuya no out here more police for no. Or the best botum. As well some say omuji moto for no sa. 1 year on me for say 2 sa, on me waste 2 times sa. And do 20 cities are not their mom no call baby. On the chain botum you can imagine. A coin with so boise, Mimi was so boise to Kumasi. Me catch a police barrier was so now, Lawrence, a brute 6. It was a beer stop for no money 10 cities, 10 cities, 10 cities, a day be 60. Calculated cash draw of my fashion, no multiply next year. They're making a lot of money, but it can't encore a buying show. So it's time I buy also a share. Now, road violators, no, and someone who violate rules. A bank can generate money from road.
Okay.
You are me phone chirawa. Penalty kwa mature Russia yesika kitwa. I am me phone and me bagana. I am in TSS. Why should I be paying to individual police officers when at the end of the month the taxes that I pay they still pay them salaries. Even though we paying yet. We paying yet ntine yes but almost started implementing sana. If you are banks be improving the police services we pay no more accommodations no. Because if you improve on their pay and accommodations now, corruption perception, and I say the rate of corruption in the police may reduce if their salaries are good. That is what I think. But Lawrence is a no. Say Ghana young people, young person have to buy forms. Young person have to pay for medicals in order to join the security agencies. To me, it's a no. And a metro petition, Sama John Mahama. So we answer the I can say increase employment in the international so on for science and more medicals for free and free, Miss Rana.
Okay. I think you've made your point and I respect that.
A careful, and I won't say proposed reforms, these are reforms that are going to implement immediately. A careful review of the cocoa sector over the last 8 years revealed gross mismanagement, which requires immediate and comprehensive reforms to address the challenges in the sector. Cabinet has therefore decided on the following reforms to guarantee a fair price to the cocoa farmer, secure the financial viability of the cocoa sector, and ensure the long-term sustainability of the cocoa industry. To bring relief to unpaid cocoa farmers, Cabinet has accordingly directed the Ghana Cocoa Board to commence immediate payment of all affected cocoa farmers. 2. A new Cocoa Board bill will be presented to Parliament to implement an automatic adjustment of producer price to align with movement in the world market price, exchange rate, and other key variables, and guarantees a minimum of 70% of gross FOB price to be paid to the cocoa farmer. A new financing model for cocoa purchases and related operations with associated benefit for increased processing will be introduced effective 2026-2027 crop season. The current financing model was invented as a necessity after the syndicated loan failed after 32 years of successful implementation, and it was proven not to be sustainable. In fact, it has proven not to be sustainable. The financing model is entirely dependent on a buyer's willingness to bear the financing costs and to pre-finance the purchase of cocoa. The key motivation for buyers in the previous season was the rollover contract priced at a rate of $2,661 per metric ton, when the existing market price were above $8,000 per metric ton. Once the gap between the rollover contract and the market price closes, and the majority of the rollover contracts are serviced, the buyer will not be willing to pre-finance the purchase of cocoa crop. Alternatively, the previous syndicated loan model requires that Cocoa Board sells forward most of the raw beans to lock in the contract, which repays the loan and serves as collateral as well. This system did not allow Cocoa Board to optimize prices on the market. In addition, the use of raw beans contract as collateral for the loan meant that Ghana could not optimize its installed capacity for processing. The new financing model will utilize domestic cocoa beans to purchase cocoa. The new financing model will utilize domestic cocoa bonds to purchase cocoa and repay the cocoa proceeds within each crop year. The bonds.
The question that you have to ask is, how can global phenomena skip Cote d'Ivoire and all the surrounding countries and only attack Ghana? How? How does it happen?
For Today Ghana News TV and Jumedi no no kremre nkomora de dodo na. I want to acknowledge some people. They are sending in their comments. I will take time to read, but let me acknowledge them. Kweku Yevu, Jibodi Efwa, Samson Frema Oye Frempon Befi, Nyami Yaobiu. Obibia was sending message behind Chamebody, but Mr. Make sure you share the please share the link. Share to your platform, share to your groups, share it to your loved ones. Obibia Ojo Ghana, Unope Ghana, Ye Biano. Please share it to them. No, Bianfana Jumba, Nafam Boom, and Yajumediano. Yes. And I think Doc made some points. And before we even move on to the next point, I will equally give Opening Charles the platform to rebut some of the things and add on to what Doc also said. Maybe he also has a different opinion. Now, so Opening, you heard Doc make some of his points. And
yes,
the next topic.
Yes, due to inadequate time, I wouldn't spend much time on his submission. As I've already indicated, Banu Kukuna, doctor has demonstrated he is naive in that sector, so I wouldn't belabor it, because in the 2024-2025 cocoa season, Dr. Randy Abe Muteki over, no. They had forward said the targeted beans, about 82% of the targeted beans, they are forward said it. So, cocoa sector issues now, Jindi say he is well seized with the facts. Intina Omeki arguments say is due to incompetence, is due to mismanagement and those kind of stuff. Sana Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, unya platform kujina so mama incompetent, the opportunity man so uncle manage Ghana economy. We also where we ended up. So I am not bothered by this claim that somebody is mismanaging the economy, somebody is incompetent. When you give them the opportunity to, you all know what will happen at the end of the day. Again, when it comes to police recruitment, you made mention of the fact that the government is extorting money from these young Ghanaians who are seeking to enter into the security agencies. I mean, how can doctor who is a member of the NPP, which recently left the reins of government, they have been in government for 8 years, and he's talking about the fact that the payment of forms, is a scam, and that albino exploited from these young guys. This system has been in place ever since this we started recruiting. If for that matter, let me just limit myself to the 1992 when we reverted to, democracy. We have used this system to recruit personnel into the security services. In the and the doctor who said a scam, tam no not only say a scam or advising the people from charging them. Even omo time we can no money advert omo catches or they have personnel bank omo top previously no want to be informing and omo now omo not knowing they were doing their own thing. So I know say the system needs to be overhauled, yes, but when somebody like Doc is saying these things are as if they have never been in government before, or even they had been in government for a very long time, but they just left power 2024 or 2025 January, and this thing shouldn't have lost on him to have told his people to stop whatever they were doing. Look, unemployment is a time bomb, we all agree, and every government has done its part concerning unemployment in the country by implementing policies to ensure you may reduce the unemployment rate. Just comparing 2024 unemployment rate to that of 2025, you realize that there has been some improvement, although I agree and acknowledge the fact that we need to do more. I will not sit here and politicize the fact that people are unemployed and I'll make politics out of it. No, I will not do that. The government of the day, led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, acknowledge unemployment is an issue that ought to be tackled. And we introduce a number of policies in the wisdom of the government, who say solve the unemployment rate. What are some of the policies? The policies include the 24-hour economy. And Dr. Kasano, he made mention of the fact that he has lived in Germany before. If that is the case, which I know it is the case, he knows Germany ran 24-hour economy, and this 24-hour economy has helped a lot of students who came here to study by way of apportioning working hours for them to adjust according to their studies. Okay, so if we also have a situation where our economy runs 24 hours per day, you can have others getting employment out of it, simply because the number of hours that we will use to work will be increased. And since one man cannot do the entire 24 hours, another man will come and take over when such a person is exhausted. So the government is not rushing with this 24-hour thing, because we are looking beyond the government. We are looking at sustaining it for generations unborn. Okay. That is why the government is taking the time. The law has been passed now. We have a 24-hour economy authority. They are going to ensure that the necessary policies and the necessary infrastructure and the necessary coordination that the 24-hour policy program will require are being rolled out, so that at the end of the day, it will not be a failed policy. So the government is aware that it needs to do something about this unemployment situation. So another policy the government introduced has to do with the Jumara. You have heard about it, which is ongoing. The 1 million coders program, the youth apprenticeship program, and a whole lot of entrepreneurship schemes that the government of the day is running to ensure that people become entrepreneurs, start up their own businesses. Also employ others to eradicate or minimize this unemployment rate. So people not getting work to do, being in the house, shouldn't be a matter for political football as usual, but rather a dispassionate discussion ought to be be heard about this situation. Now, Emma, maybe now we school or that be also now this issue of brain drain. So ends it.
Okay. I think also Penny will make you a point. I've seen a lot of the messages coming in even because of your brain. Yeah, the messages in the share to all now. Now let's move to our second topic on the table. It has got to do with the World Bank's advice. It has got to do with the advisor, EBA, about the war and how it can affect the economy. I don't even see it to be like crude oil, mechanical economy, because oil is shaky. The Bank of Ghana's warning to the global tensions, especially in the Middle East, I bet me affect the economy because oil already say cost up and everything goes up, and it's serious. Let me give you a little background of the story. Now, 2 days ago, in a Bank of Ghana, the Middle East, warning about the Middle East tension as the threat has got to do with oil now consuming. The governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Pandit Siama, has cautioned that escalation tensions in the Middle East could pose risk to Ghana's improving inflation trajectory. He spoke at the opening on the 129th Monetary Policy Committee meeting, highlighting the potential economic impact of the geopolitical conflict, noting that it is already disrupting key global energy and shipping routes. Some baby brave or no nanka bia say insution no ana ship no fa cry the bedru astanka omode oil ba fa na bedru no asisa na jeni nso akoye tenten de na ise sika no kwa na ekosoro already na bi mma nti kakra na eba no price na akosoro na esan su ko fa ichire ansan ebedru na che say sura na eko na then person can say Ghana started enjoying a bit of stability in terms of oil. It may affect for certain so no. I can say oil and enjoying for the past months no. Months now enjoy oil. I think fuel as low as 9 cedi per liter near there. Then asaya kosro, and people are beginning to ask questions. Like Doc rightly intimating, Nanka Middle East in the FIFA bank because it was something that was said. What worries me is that when it happens like this now, will be one chair, and if you are not a sitting government, you tend to make politics out of it. But it goes a long way to affect all of us because Doc was right with what he said. At a time when this government was in opposition, clearly the president now, as at then in opposition, made some points saying can fire. And the reality has hit us, telling us that something that can affect other people too in a way. But my question is, what are the policies now? We've all seen the signs. What are the policies? Then because it goes a long way to affect the economy, and the Ghanaian man will suffer. To make sure, say, even though a crampona, I'm feeling bebre. So let me start with him. On this particular one.
All right, thank you, Lawrence, once again. With this issue of exogenous factors having an effect on our local economy has not been in dispute. Obiaji tum say, nia esi wa amansan dwaso and as esi wa amansan ekuru mu a ye ne omo won kitahudie fa ne say isia no yesi ewiasi na be ye ekura baako, what we call the global village. Inti the ekoso obi manso no either direct effects or indirect effects on your economy. So NDC and Kojina Bibi Anka say Russia-Ukraine war and answer COVID-19 about 2020 or Ghana no. It means so yeah economy so. MPP for Korea na ya ekase Mahama Okujina Abruchiri no kase COVID-19 Russia.
You see, let's put that on the record. You know this show no regardless of what happened, no, you cannot correct. But it was said on a record, say fire home. I just want to bring you back on track. Say Ubian Kujina Bibi Kayano. This was what was said. But it was mommy.
No, but sorry.
I think the president now, as at then in opposition, said say Russia Ukraine war fire home.
Yes. Urefi the Harvard conversation, Anna.
No, I'm not talking about what was said in Harvard and all that. I'm just bringing you to the point that Oka said it wasn't said, but it was said.
Okay, I am still saying, say the president now and opposition leader at the time did not indicate that fire home because Russia Ukraine. His Excellency the president of Ghana was once a president before becoming the current president, so he knows what exogenous factors have on the local economy. So during his first tenure, Ubekaya, the fall in crude oil prices, the fall in gold prices, and other your friends traditional exports affected our revenue position to the extent that by first quarter of 2015, the finance minister had to go to parliament to review our inflows from our exports. So the president is fully aware of what exogenous factors have on our economy. What the president was communicating to the good people of Ghana at the time was that exogenous factors, yes, are bound to happen. So when they do happen, what measures do you have in place? Shock absorbers do you have in place to mitigate the impact of these factors? All right, that was his communication to the good people of Ghana. And Nuntina MPP for the Banomo Akasa BMU no Kukuti Harvard conference now President Mama Koy and cast COVID-19 Russia-Ukraine war a dire impact on our economies. But Obagana no Abeka say impact be on our economies. So I just want to put on record that the president was communicating to the good people of Ghana to the effect that the impact of these exogenous factors can be mitigated when you have proper absorbing shock absorbers in place. So going forward, what I'm saying is that we acknowledge the fact that this Iran war has effects on our local economy, but at what point does this war affect the Ghanaian people, and to what extent does this war affect the Ghanaian people? That is why the governor indicated that the war could erode all the successes that we have chalked over the period if if this war persists for a very long time. Yes, because our economy is still vulnerable, simply because we have not built the needed buffers over the period, and we are now seeking to build strong buffers to absorb some of these shocks in the long run. But we know that the government is studying the situation, and they will intervene where necessary. Ghanaians should be rest assured, say, the impact, yes, we will feel it, but the impact is what the government is seeking to mitigate. Now, and compare, say, to the extent better petrol 23 cedis per liter, and the dollar will rise to 17 Ghana cedis per dollar, and other trading, your friend is saying, currencies. And also, we are also looking at not depleting our accumulated reserves, but rather building more reserves so that the impact will not be that much on Ghanaians. So basically, we are looking at mitigating the impact of this Russia-Ukraine war.
Okay.
Sorry, Iran, Israel war.
US.
Yes.
All right. I think you've made your point. Ma me fa doc in brim na me fa ni so adwin check doc. Yeah, we are still discussing one inside Bank of Ghana in regards to the impact of the war currently and how it can affect the economy. And we're asking if there are any plans, policies, cushions, anything that will cushion the Ghanaian from not having a direct experience.
Lawrence Midase. I said, Mention the refi no kakra. Me, Mr. Producer. So, obetima share sa audio na, and I said video na, John Mama, say you to two bomb no eto from Ukraine. A bomb no ndru Ghana ha. Na fire ho be na ebe affect the economy no. Ade na yejunu sa war no. He's biting his own words. He should choose his own words. Na this year no Iran and Ukraine emutwe. Be free Iran ansa na waba Russia ansa na waba Ghana. And this Russia and Ukraine or mutu bomb na emfa Ghana ho a. Na Iran which no emfa Ghana ho be na I was say yejono. And you can say yejono kra Lawrence we there from the president owns mouth. And I said me yi ni video no nanka ya bo nanka mesa atie no o ka kire Ghana for. But yeah, you say fire home. At those days, Russia-Ukraine war and a COVID-19, no fire home pa. We put in measures in place. Measures ni bia. Yeah, the 82 be na good for oil, no. Good for reserve, no. And be measures ni be honoma na the 82 akwemu. Say yeah, name produce no. Ka ebetimi asie bi na de bi atrade ama aya aboa ya economy because say na ube use dollar na or say ten bia no u print cedi ni bebre na wato dollar no wabochire in order to show your foreign reserves and then aya inflations no and the depreciation of the cedi like you sa and in his own wisdom and as the Adam Smith of Wale, yes, the chairman of the economic management team, or implementing a lot of policies. Meeting yaka, asimibo, aka say some of the policies now NDC government benefit no, especially gold board, good for oil and our policies na no, and na abo gold bed and asamboa the stabilization of the Ghana cedi against the dollar. But then mesaka gold for reserve no. And only say no matter say Sami Jenfi and I said Bank of Ghana or ton reserve na yet 12 about 50%, which is very bad. Into Oman share ever affect here. See, I mean, okay, gold board facing a lot of challenges, a lot of challenges. Gold board challenges are gold board facing and yes and ketwa and yeah by the ajo. Kasankasa. But Semijan fee is finding the ways. Last year meeting, we go meeting Nibi. I know can say gold board no. Omunye gold nibi into see. Among for how they goes gold no. And among for so ebi omu de mo ebi mu. Enti opeso o change structures no. Opeso ye gold market. And I can say enye ye. So opeso ye dia also otie ya your underground no. Ya interact with miners no. Buyers no. Na jai some monopoly na omo pesa omo ye no. And that kind of authoritative in an autocratic style of leadership no emboa no. We advising and I catch say akora de akora ombo no akora opete ombo no otio no ohwe no pre no bra obeda nti ye hwe no or 1 year in his office into pre ebe hwe no sa obra no ojoa obeda oda ohona ebe kire no say yes ye no ilimye and your kwan ebe fa so amana aye. Gold board initiative no, is just a change of name and a little bit policy shift. Because gold board was already in existence and any new office be precious minerals marketing PMMC. No. But measures are me feel say you bet me take it as a country. Say Ghana they produce crude oil. Time as soon say we should invest in processing the crude in Ghana. And I'm at to say Ghana National Petroleum Corporation and as authority or more as I say some will produce your crude, because Iran, Russia, Ukraine war, it is more or less like a energy war. And a energy war, that means it's going back to economic war. Because energy goes with economics. And if it is energy war, then automatic it will affect our economy. And the say alternative for everything then I produce oil. And at the same time, also another alternative, say also diversify your energy. Mintia say why Ghana, we are closer to the sea, right? If we have all the resources, say with my nuclear energy, that can generate electricity for us. It's time I say yes, because the energy system, but now you see gas, and this a shorty gas is see a bit affected the economy now. And the time I so say investing heavily in solar system. A bit my investing heavily on solar system because Yankopon share am solar, and so we are not making good use of it. Oko stream side, Hanum say now, eco side, we no boss. I don't see why yet me investing heavily in solar. Still, you're generating electricity in those areas. It's time as soon say I buy on your strategic policy. Ebe motivating Ghanaian youth, or designing specific policies in solar. From JHS and I say SS, there will be a specific course that would train solar experts so that omit my solar panel, solar maintenance, solar development. That is how the advanced country do. China, they were producing machines. They were strategic in producing people that are very critical. That will be very critical to the economy. in the coming years. And no mutima de advocate for common. But Ghana 10 year ye lucky. Ye pay doctors, ye pay lawyers. I feel no more women ye and no only that one cannot transform the economy. And it's time as social buying on train a lot of experts, specialists about the solar system. So that we make my use solar panels, or make my maintaining. Now you move away from the gas, the terminal, and the hydroelectric energy. You see a generating electricity, and no a boy because Russia Ukraine war. Economic has ever affected the fuel prices, the crude prices. I give you a new high beyond affected here because bump no, you don't Ghana. Bump number blast or Ghana. A crude oil now, a boba cost, a cost will affect here. So, what alternative are buying the air? The only alternative are maybe a kind say, yeah, I will produce your crude oil, no, your portions of crude oil. And at the same time, yeah, I will produce your solar energy. No. And all in all, no, is good. And the me expect to say, President John Mahama ever apologizes Ghanaians. So no one can say Russia Ukraine war no. You two bomb no Ukraine no Russia. Imuchi ne Ghana fire ho ben. Ombra nembe apologizing ma Ghanaians. Wamba me apologizing ma Ghanaians a. Yam fan channel. Ebe pon so abasa o me apologize. So oh no one kan e. Nanso anokre said that time na NPP under Nana Adu and a Bomio governance na Russia Ukraine war ebae and a COVID-19 ebae no it affect ye nanso Nana Akufo-Addo ya dear said two world economic crisis where pandemic COVID-19 ebae it me a manage country ye hand over man as is your offices are crisis no and on one kind young fan channel or by side in the channel. One by side any the yeah, as in NPP and TRC, and you can sell fuel prices in El Costro. If the fuel prices goes up, a mismanagement. If the fuel prices goes up, it's incompetent. If the fuel prices goes up, he doesn't take Ghanaians, the plight of Ghanaians. If fuel apps goes on, he wants to collapse the economy. If fuel prices goes on, he's maltreating Ghanaians. If fuel prices goes on, he's collapsing the Ghanaian economy. Until he comes to apologize. I ever say world economic crisis so it affected Ghanaians and the channel. And yes, fuel prices cost will be is incompetent. Suppose crisis cost will be is not managing the economy well. Suppose that corporate corruption cost is can be ADD and nuntina sani manimene eba. But over apologize dear, who say wa apologize wa can cre any channel. And yes, dear, we in opposition will never and never forgive him and will not take the current hardship, the increase in force price lightly. Young fan channel, young fan channel. Because Russia Ukraine war, yeah, Iran, USA war, the emu chain is across the Atlantic Oceans. Omutokrana and Dugan, have a kokoto epumu, the fire economy bang. And baby and two bomb Ghana. If you say, then I bit my affect here, and me affect here, cry. Sana John Mama and my etias here. Tama NPP ewa abayamu and Nana Akufo-Addo or say bump na national you go it should not affect our economy. And then you can say ebe affect here. Until we don't expect any fuel prices to increase, right? Now Lawrence, mesre Ghanaians so almost orange na and jai Sani man, born videos, no, videos, no, front of TikTok. There's more money Ghanaians, the youth, no, are more TikTok, the youth, no more Facebook, no more YouTube, no. Boss are mama videos, no more fan kai, no. Me jidi say, the kai now, obetia say, now for prices, I don't know how to find the person inclusive for prices now. Ometi break, no more by reverse, no more maintaining prices, no. Because you see, no one my as I say, Bibia a cost, name a boy phone. And then you can say, fuel prices may be increased by an inch. Marty said, one share by the end of the week, no, at the end of the month, the fuel price, the quote 20 Ghana is 80 members. Intimate ambassador, young fan channel, Yeah, fan channel.
Now, so during your time, no fuel prices were up. Now, I see you advocating for that.
Yeah, time no. Me can say yeah time no. Yeah, first time na ni me koso ye. Second time na COVID-19
prior to the 2024 elections, no. Now what was happening now, and to the some increasing fuel prices. Even I can't say.
And we can say Russia-Ukraine war no na koso. And then we say Russia is the leading producer of energy, be it gas, be it crude oil. Russia is leading, and of fertilizer, Russia is the leading producer, and Ukraine is one of the leading producers of heat. And to where many countries may need air corner, and no affect ye, pa. Russia, USA basically on exporting oil. Russia is exporting oil, and only Iran. As I say, Omukun Ebon Iran. And the no can be na fuel price in a course. Only say shocks ba. At the time of war started, people were fighting. And the Ebama side and European Union sanction Russia into Russian oil na emba Ghana. And the Nina na emba the world market. Na ko India and the no so ekika ho bi. And na me can say yeah time we use the Russia-Ukraine war and the COVID-19 and the NDC, John Mahama, or no, the campaign, MIT assessor said, no, that cannot happen because Russia-Ukraine war, no war. And Bengana cry, and the new say, fuel prices are costly. On the kind and they say, fuel prices are costly, no associating with the war in Iran. You just say, penny, yet the penny to say, and no more fuel prices there, of course, right? Yeah, cafe. Enye no ye ka say ye no ene pagane for acho say omufa nche say eba sa but ono no say enye sa mismanagement and this ono so etino twen na for president ekosom there ono so oye mismanagement ene ni dada so incompetent and this management no so there eno no be afa kra afa.
Okay. Still on the camera on Today Ghana News TV. Exactly 55 minutes past 7. And Chibiana, Edijumedia, Equavi, Nemo, Mamifa Konya way. Now, me reading some of the messages are so far. IBP more Twitch, sounds on the Facebook. Now, study Ubia in a joint chairby and Mima Ubia Sonte, Ubia Walker. Now, I want to start with this comment from Nyamia, who was said today. Okay, so let me start with from Pom Befi. Says, welcome back to our homes. Ghana is in good hand. NDC and John Mahama all the way, watching from Akusenia Somenya. We, if you from Pom Befi, will say, Wabafi, Ziaga Ghana wants a pepper as a Ridia Koyi. Mavis Boaten says, watching with a family from Lisbon, Portugal. The expansion of the security personnel is a good call. Happy anniversary. So there's nothing wrong with the expansion when it comes to the security. Okay. That's it. Now that Afumu says, greeting, watching from Security Information Center listeners. Watching from totally Northern Ghana. Congratulations to your team. Which of them? 5 years now. Okay, me sure. Roma. NDC Diaspora Union says, greetings, Comrade Charles Mesa. We need to congratulate the government for steering the economy to a higher level. NDC all the way watching from Amsterdam, Holland. Janframa TV says, who is when OS Ken Ofori Ata? Okay, I think it's not a typo. When is Ken Ofori Ata coming to Ghana to account to the people watching from Rara in the region? We see account. It's very, very crucial. It's important. Say the president has embarked on a nationwide tour and commissioning project. Just 1 year in power, watching from Suhum in the eastern region. It's not over till it's over. Until Munko so share program no. whilst I also do justice reading your comment, share program my. See, Dr. Bongo, no, Mpacho, mankind, move producer Mpacho, any demo. I said, Doc, we were talking mankind a quiet. I said, Doctor, Bongo, I would rather advise you and the NPP to focus on rebuilding the NPP to come back in 2068. Hey, more you. Doc, all right. If we, Lady Mao says, happy anniversary, greetings to, I say greetings from St. Petersburg, Russia, watching on Twitch. Dr. Bongo, you are welcome. I always enjoy watching you defending the past corrupt government. This one I don't have massage. It said I'm going to buy another kind. Okay. Jigbodi F1 test. Jigbodi. Jigbodi, I said 5 years anniversary, boss. I'm sure on your baby mouth. Some other names I might mention. I say 5 year anniversary there. You should not presenting my t-shirt in the Bremona. My identity, Papa. Jigbodi F1 test. Good evening, watching from Sunyani. So tell Doc Abongo that the cocoa politics is not helping the NPP. They should concentrate on their membership drive. Currently, the NPP is unattractive to Ghanaians. I think this is a candid advice. So, okay. Prema Oye says, good evening. Watching from Manchester. Who? Prema Viaboko. Na Manchester, what is saying? Okay. Nyame Abio says, good evening, watching from Nkwanta in the UT region. Your program is also live on at the Lehman Community Information Center at Tutukweni in Kechebi. And Kechebi, Mpacho Tutukweni for any Kechebi, Bibia Boko, the Nyamiase. Nyami Abio says, today Doc is being patriotic. And Ghana for so Mpacho. The time now is exactly 8 p.m. on the dot. And Pacho, any day kwan so madam mpenifu ase. Sunday na muja mo find time out of your busy schedules. Now Mbeka is Sergeant Ghana. Opening Abongo, Samson Opening Charles, who is the NDC Hamburg branch communications team member. Samson Doc, chairman for the Russia branch, NPP. Mpenifu, Mandam Asia, na ese ma etiafo. But that's why.
Kache Ghana, chance on your Ghana. On Bagana she. She paid you. Me play ticket class and Ghana, Russia, Minya. I had dim, Papa.
And MPP time and Kawaka Hokra.
MPP time, buy another call.
NDC, Abbas Wintina, Yaman, Yamamaya Dane, Masisia, we 10 cities, I win $1.
Now, what you two name $1 now we and over any day. First, Unima iodine. Water bill. First, no me to your light bill. Me to trainers. You see, and light bill by 1,000. I multiply by 3 times. You give me a funny man of my NDC for me. So when you say me, if you need to know my target,
we income a Jafako.
We come to the Paco. That's what first, no me the $100 bar. Mr. Sam, me yet 1,600. Say $100, me yet 1,000.
This year, the friend is sitting no why I want the Abasro. And
Jama, Michigan swatch it. That is Michigan swatch it.
I must dinner one day, Masro. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
And into the rice, so yati sugar, so yati margarine, so yati fuel, and that crown night.
Well, I increase also yati so fuel a cost.
At your time,
you been told petrol, and let's say my teams are my
fuel and a liter. At a point in time, we're buying a liter at 23 Ghana cedis.
Oh, Debbie.
Who catch them say we never bought fuel at 23 Ghana cedis per liter?
Under which government? Is it under the current government?
No, your incompetent government, of course.
No. Who told you? That's why I go do 17. I go do 17. And call 20. And call 20 that. I go do 17.
23.
There go do 17. Somebody say NDC. Some of can say 38%. Because I can't let you bring 38%. Then 41%. As you can say 38%. And this for propaganda.
38% of what?
Doc, Mr. Charles.
Current elections, presidential elections, 38%. Now, 41%. Now, NDC 38%.
Doc, Openi Charles,
Ministers, Gaza so many years, Mamuni on TikTok, Kasa. Ministers, Ministers, TikTok. As Andrew regional minister on TikTok, no Kasa.
A big thank you to all our viewers, all our listeners, all our contributors, everybody. I want to say a big thank you to all of you. Thursday, next week by this time, we'll come your way with another interesting program on the Kremlin Live on Today Ghana News TV. In fact, my listeners, opening set, now, I first say, now Today Ghana News TV, ya try shim, unim, na fe ya kuko me bebre, na I can say, and Bibia on ye, aqua bedrusi sebre. Yami Aduma Thursday, like I intimated, they'll come back your way with another interesting program.
Yeah.